thank you. We're going to sit back. We're going to have a bride panel, so we're going to just ask some questions so that we can all gain a little bit of knowledge about how our brides, grooms, couples, you know, how they kind of make decisions and things like that. Things that maybe we can learn on how we can work with our couples better. Anything like that. So we're going to turn it over to Peri.
All right. You guys got your mics? All right. Good evening. Thank you for joining us for the second MBWEP Brides panel. I just looked it up on Facebook, and the last one that we did of these was back in 2012. You can actually look it up. It's an album, and we're all much younger then. So that was back at Cooler Ranch, which is now Saltwood. But the topic is timeless. For those of us in the wedding biz, we're always interested in how brides think and what's important to them and how they make decisions, right? So today, our three experts are past brides, all of whom live locally, and they all held weddings in this area. I'm going to start by introducing Angelina, who, that's you, who is one of Mandy's brides. And Angelina graduated from Sonoma State, and then she worked at Wedgwood up in Sonoma, right? Is that right? Okay. And her family owns Dolly Cakes in Salinas. Wait, I'm going to get back to that. Now she works at Wedgwood in Carmel Fields. But I just wanted to say our camera person, Jana, had a birthday a few years back, and she said all she wanted was cupcakes. Yeah. And I called all the bakers around Monterey Peninsula, and I was like, do you have an assortment? Can I buy an assortment of cupcakes? And it was like, no, you can have vanilla or chocolate. And that's it, vanilla or chocolate. And you have to order a dozen of each. And I just, you know, and then they wanted like $12 a piece or something. It was like insane. And so somehow I found Dolly Cake and Supplies. Is that the name of it? And they have an assortment of cupcakes, and they are insane. They're so good. You guys, it's worth the drive to Salinas if you live in Monterey, which I do. So anyway, that a little plug for your family business.
Thank you.
So next we have Teresa, who was one of my brides. We shot video for her wedding. And Teresa and her husband Chris both went to Monterey High. They hung out with in the same crowd. They weren't a couple. They didn't even really. We just liked each other as friends, right?
Yeah. Barely spoke.
And then later in life, they connected, and I was lucky enough to have them call me for their wedding, and they just had a baby. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah. All right. And my third bride is Jessica, who many of you know. She used to work at Carmel Highlands Inn. Now, old folks like me call it the Highlands Inn.
Highlands Inn, yeah. I'm lucky there.
And
Highlands Inn.
She's now owner of Cork and Vows. She's gone as a wedding planner, and she's a past board member of Monterey Bay Wedding and Event Professionals. Jessica recently got married, and she had 4 weddings. No, really. She had 4 weddings. You want to? We'll start with you. Tell us about that.
Oh, we're starting there. Okay. We are crazy. Yes, we had 4 weddings last year. My husband and I, Eric and I, got married first in May. We did an elopement style, more or less, in Denver, Colorado, kind of Garden of the Gods for those that know that area. It was just his parents and my parents, and it was very intimate. And then we went to a nice restaurant afterwards and had an awesome wine dinner experience. Then in June, we flew to Jersey, and we did a wine dinner pairing out in Bayhead, if anybody knows, off of the coastline there with my side of the family. And then in August, we went back to Colorado and had a big friends celebration there, we'll just call it. We got a big party bus. We went to a big concert afterwards. And then in September was our last wedding, and that was at the Highlands Inn. And that was all of our California friends. So 4 big celebrations.
Cool. So, and I forgot to mention that Teresa's wedding was at Bayonet Black Horse, and she did her photo session at Colton Hall in Monterey, and Angelina's was at Peri House. So I'm sure you all know those venues. I'm going to start with whoever wants to take this question. or you can all think about it for a second. Tell me, what did your dream wedding look like from the time you started thinking about your wedding, maybe as a little girl or maybe when you're a little older? Tell me what that vision was. Who wants to start?
Go for it. One of you.
Yeah, I'll just go. Okay, so has anybody seen 13 Going on 30? Okay, that was like my vision. I always pictured like the big white house with like the wraparound porch. And then the closest thing, honestly, to that in this area was the Peri house. There's also one up north called the Farmer's Daughter, I think, in Sonoma. Yeah. So that was kind of always my vision. Is I'm a big movie person, so that's the first thing that I grasped was like, I love this idea, and I've just always stuck with it. So yeah.
Okay.
I think my vision came like once I got engaged. I never really thought about it. I did plan 2 weddings. I was married very young at 21, and then my second wedding was just a few years ago. So having planned 2 weddings, I kind of just went as I, I didn't have a vision, but I kind of just went as I thought of stuff. But I was definitely inspired by the weddings I went to. So I picked my venue because I went to 2 really fun weddings at that venue. And I liked the idea of getting married outside and a lot of greenery. And I definitely had strong vision of my wedding dress both weddings. So that was a big factor. I kind of planned a wedding around my dress.
Oh, all right. And you can just pick one. No, I'm kidding.
I presented a cost estimate in front of my husband, and he was like, "You're insane. You are not going to spend that much money. We need to rethink this." It kind of blissfully came about after that of, why don't we just split up our idea? Initially, I was going to do the Highlands Inn and do a big party, DJ, the whole 9 yards, probably something else afterwards. And he came up with the idea of splitting it up. And so we traveled to multiple locations. The thought was I couldn't put my grandpa and my grandma in the same room as my friends getting hyphy on the dance floor. So it was how do I create a different idea? So I'll give him the credit on that
Okay.
one. So.
I'll stay with you for a second. When you first said "I do," what was the most important thing that came to your mind? Like the thing that you had to book immediately?
When I said I do, or when he proposed?
I'm sorry. When you said yes.
Oh yes. Oh, I see.
Yes, not "I do." That was the wrong thing. Yes.
Stationery. I was really stuck on stationery, and I wanted a specific look and specific colors. Hence, what I do now
So
for
you're
a
all
living.
about the colors and the And what about you?
That's probably where my first mind went.
The first thought that popped in my head was when we were going to do it, like what time of year. I knew I wanted it outside, so when like weather was going to be good.
Yeah.
And then also with our work schedules, when we can take a honeymoon. And then once we figured out when it was needing to be, then it was just nailing down the venue. And I
Okay.
felt once we did that, everything else kind of just fell into place.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you differently, Angelina. So in your brain, like the order of things, did it go like venue, dress, rings, color theme, bridesmaids, dresses, grooms, and did it like shoes, photographer, florist? Was there an order in your brain of the things that you had to book
Yes.
immediately? How'd it go?
I think it went pretty good. I think right away from you, it was just like venue. Like I just want to get that booked, and then like everything else will fall into place.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say it's definitely like something that kind of correlated in my brain, like venue, dress, bridesmaid boxes, all those things kind of came
Yeah.
after that.
Was there, I'm going to stay with you for a sec, was there something you wish that someone had told you before you started planning? Like something that you maybe after the fact went, oh man, I should have done it this way, or anything like that? Anybody? Any? Or? No. Okay. No, not so much. All right.
Yeah, I was very detail oriented, so I don't know if I don't think I missed anything.
You had off them. Yeah. So,
Not again. Wow.
Teresa, how did you decide on a budget?
I didn't really have a budget per se. Like I knew how much money my in-laws were going to contribute, and I knew an idea of what my parents were going to contribute. But then I also, for extra things that I wanted, I paid with my own money. So I just kind of wanted the wedding that I wanted and just made it happen.
Yeah, I like that about you. And you got a video.
Yeah.
Did anybody use an online budget planner? No. Did you use any online tools like, Wedding Wire or the Knot, Zola, any of the
I used Minted to kind of help me with some collateral, but
I forget the name of the one I use. It's like the Knot.
Wedding Wire?
Zola.
That was it.
Joy.
Zola. I use Zola, yeah.
Zola
Okay.
I used too.
Yeah.
That one worked really well for me.
And how did it help you? What was the most helpful thing?
Honestly, Zola tracks everything. Like you can set like a budget expectation. You can like put in all your vendors and how much you're paying for them. You can make a guest list, invitations, floor plans. Zola's great, a website, literally everything. But I was gonna kind of add, coming from an all-inclusive venue, there was definitely like a sticker shock, like going into like actually book vendors. So I think I did a lot of research online too, because I didn't want to call a vendor without knowing like pricing kind of up forward, at least like a little bit of it, just kind of like an idea. Yeah, so I'd say like I did a little research looking at vendors, like usually like on Yelp or like Zola too, because you can also look at vendors there.
Now I was going to ask, I know that you hired a planner, and tell me what was the best part of that service for you? I mean, other than her glowing personality.
Great. Every part of it. I think I worked with Mandy for a while too, so I kind of already knew like what to expect, and just her personality really shines. So yeah, it's just really nice, really easy. I feel like I already exactly knew what I wanted to, so hand in hand, kind of helping out.
Yeah. Teresa, you didn't use a planner, did you? Or did you? I can't remember.
No, I didn't.
I don't think so.
I didn't do planner, but I planned it in 3 months by myself, which was crazy to think of back. So
Wow.
gives me great.
Yeah.
All right.
Thinking about that.
So, Jessica, you are a planner. Did you hire one too?
I technically did not. However, someone here on that table over there, Emily, she helped me plan the last wedding, the last celebration at the Highlands Inn. So.
Okay. Now, the main thing I know that our guests here want to know is how you decided what was important and how you decided on budget for each category. And the things that you decided to get versus not, I guess.
As a planner, I'm fortunate to know kind of where an average spend in each more or less category. However, my dear now husband didn't know any of those dollar amounts, and I had to do a lot of education on that. Love you, dear, if we are recording this. So I had to do a lot of education, I think, for him, and then we decided what's important to us. And so I had, again, educating him on what's important to us. But I think in all honesty, asking him what's important there, and then we kind of segued down of like, okay, photography is important to us, great. The venue, and it was more about the guest experience at that point because we were going to spread it out into 4 different locations. He was very adamant about taking time to spend with family in the areas that we were, and then creating the funness around the friends too. And so that's ultimately why we split everything up. So
Okay. Teresa, do you want to talk about how you decided what was important to you and what you decided to get versus things you decided to skip, and how much you budgeted for each thing, and also multiple?
I had a general idea of what a wedding in Monterey cost because I had done one years ago in 2002, and then I helped so many friends get married, and then my brother had got married 6 years prior. So I kind of had an idea, but everything was more because it was like right after COVID. So even though I had an idea of what my budget or what things were going to cost, things were just slightly more. So I went slightly over what I thought I was going to spend for the entire wedding. But luckily I didn't have to skip out, and I just made it work because you know, I didn't want to sacrifice the little details or things that, you know, mattered to me. And I think it all came out beautiful. So
Were you influenced by other people in your family? You should get this, you shouldn't get that, make sure that, you know, fill in the blank?
no, I think because it was my second wedding and I complained so much about the first wedding that there was too much family involvement, that the second time, you know, it was very clear that this was going to be my wedding, so no one said anything to me, luckily. And I think that's why the wedding, it was just all 100% me, which felt really cool to see my vision. You know, I did very non-traditional things, like had a green wedding cake instead of a white one. So, you know, I didn't really want a wedding party. So and also being outside and not in a church, I just wanted things to be my, you know, vision.
The way you wanted it.
Yeah, the way I wanted it. And it came out really cool and really original. So, you know,
Cool.
I liked it.
Do you want to talk about that, Angelina?
So, budget expectations, I definitely feel like we had one in mind, but I was okay with going over it because if it was important to me, I was willing to spend the money on it.
Was it you or family or?
It was
Combo?
us, and my family was gonna help, but they didn't really tell me how much they were gonna give me. They were kind of just like, we're gonna wait till the end because we know if we tell you, you're gonna want more stuff. So they didn't give me like a set number. But I think we were hoping to stay within like 30 to 35. And then, yeah, during planning, it was always like only 1,000 more, you know? So I think that definitely, you know, I became a victim of that. But I would say what was important for me is guest experience. So just like food, music. I did get a photographer, but I hired a friend because photography was important to me, but I really just wanted to look at the photos. I didn't need them to be like a certain way. And then I did skip out on video, which I wish I would not have, actually.
That was one of my questions.
Yeah, I didn't do videography, and I do look back and I'm like, oh, I wish I had this ceremony, because honestly I kind of blacked out during it, so I wish I had that on tape.
Do not get me started. Okay. So let's see, I'm going to ask, wait. Yeah, okay, I already asked the planning question. What was the hardest part of the planning process, and how did you overcome it? Anyone?
I didn't want to do the seating.
You what?
I didn't want to do a seating arrangement, but that was one thing with having a sit-down dinner that I think we had to do. But I was lucky I had a friend volunteer and do that for me, and I think that was the one task I gave my husband to do, was the seating arrangement. I just had zero interest. And then also just doing the schedule of the day, all this scheduling, time of this and be out. I think that was kind of stressful.
Oh, you should have asked me. I'm the timeline queen.
Everyone was doing our timeline. The photographer did our timeline, and the DJ did our timeline, and then it was I was like, are these the same timelines? Or are they talking to each other? It's almost different. We'll see how it goes. It all worked, but I just remember thinking of the timeline being something that it just goes by so fast.
Timelines are important, because if you don't have one and everybody just wants to hang out and drink, by the time you get to dinner, everybody's just, toast.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, your hardest bit?
My hardest bit was just traveling with all the decorations to 4 different locations, basically.
Did you drive or fly?
I flew. I packed those suitcases perfectly. So, yeah. I knew exactly how much they weighed.
Tell me, what was the best decision that you made in the planning process?
To split it up, all 4 locations.
Okay, all right.
I would say photography and videography. I'm just so happy that I hired the people that I did. The photographer got such great pictures. You made an amazing video. And
we had Larry, huh?
Larry, yeah. He did my senior portrait and my husband's senior portrait. And he did my brother's wedding.
He did my sister's senior portrait.
Yeah, he captured some really great pictures, and then to see the video. So I'm happy that I didn't, but I'm happy I put thought into those 2 decisions. And also, honestly, the harpist, that was something a lot of people...
Julie.
Yeah, a lot of people thought I should have skipped that to save money, or that it wasn't needed during the ceremony to have
Beautiful.
a harpist, like during happy hour. And to me, it just really made the wedding what it was, and the atmosphere. And I loved seeing the harpist in the pictures and then watching the wedding video. So, yeah. And my dress was my favorite part, too. I wish I could wear it again.
You should.
All right. Yellen?
I think keeping everything local for me was really nice
We
because
love
like
that.
I'm in Salinas, so being able to just like drive to the venue to do planning meetings, meet with the vendors in person, that was really helpful for me. Yeah, I'd say that that's something that was really good, really helpful.
You already answered my next question was, did you have any regrets? Did you have any regrets of things that you wished that you had done or booked?
I also wish I would have done like a caricature artist for cocktail
Oh,
hour.
funny. I mean, but you also said the video. So what was yours, Teresa? Did you have any?
It's kind of silly, but the one thing that I did cut was just gold chargers, with for setting the tables. That was just one thing I just kind of saved for last minute and just didn't have enough time. And then when the places I was looking to do that, and then kind of just not wanting to spend the money on that. But I did last minute add lighting and drapery to the room. So I think that was huge, and that made a big difference the day of the wedding, and seeing it in the pictures and in the video.
We like that. It makes the room look so much better.
Yeah.
For the dancing, for the everything.
Yeah. So that was a last minute thing, and then cutting the gold chargers, or just not even having time to do that. So.
Okay. Did you have any?
Go ahead. You can go to the next question.
No regrets. No, because she did everything she wanted.
I mean, honestly, the only regret is probably just having a content creator, at least for 2 of them. I would want somebody just to kind of capture those moments behind the scenes, so I had them for later.
For social. Okay. Yeah. Is there anything, if you could go back, is there anything you would change about anything, or what advice would you give yourself?
Oh, this is getting real detailed. The first one, the ceremony, we us girls have a good side and a bad side, right? Well, I was on my good side, but of course the wind was blowing this direction. Of course, my hair was down. I'm like, I knew I should have put it up. It was in my face the entire time. So that's probably my only regret there. Or I'm sorry, if I could redo something.
Okay, let's jump back to vendors again. Which vendors did you feel were worth every penny, and which ones would you have skipped?
Skip none. 1,000%. They were all worth their money. In fact, I probably should have paid more. So.
We like that. Okay.
I think the only thing, something I could have skipped or done different, the only thing I thought of is like if I did a different venue, only because I saw different places, like, oh, I should have gotten married here, I should have gotten married here, but I loved my venue, and I'm not particular. To me, it was more so just having the outside space, the outside ceremony, the greenery in the background, and I like the patio area with the indoor. And like I said, I went to 2 weddings there that were super fun. But I wasn't like super tied to that venue. It was probably the one thing I could have changed. And then what was the other part of the question?
Which ones would you have skipped? Which ones did you think were worth every penny?
Oh, that were worth every penny. I would say the photographer with Larry. I mean, I thought his prices were a little on the pricier side, but he did such a great job. I'm happy that, I spent.
That you threw down.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I think Bayonet has a really nice vibe. It's kind of, it's not super fancy, but it has beautiful vistas, and everybody's always comfortable there. It's one of those places. It's got good feng shui.
It does.
Feng shui, that's my word of the week. Anyway. Go ahead.
So something I think about now is the Peri house I loved like as a reception space, but I think I wasn't in love with the ceremony space, but I just never really I didn't really think about it. And then now I'm kind of thinking like I wish we would have done like maybe Point Pino's like Lighthouse, like done the ceremony there and then moved. So I think that's something that I think about sometimes too, is like I don't know if I was super happy with the ceremony location.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I mean, I
Yes.
shot at that venue a lot, so.
Yes, there wasn't very many like photo spots.
Yeah.
I would have loved going there for the reception. So I think that's something that I definitely thought about later on, and I'm
I
like,
like the house for the party.
Yes,
you
like,
know,
it's
and the
super
dancing
cute,
and all
super
that.
fun.
And the dinner.
Yeah.
But yeah, the ceremony, yeah, you could move it down to the beach or something.
Yeah, there was like a huge garbage truck passing by around where we were doing vows.
Or a jet going over.
You remember the truck? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was fun. And then vendors, I wouldn't have skipped out any that we got. I think all of them were worth their while, and they did an amazing job. And
You made good choices.
yeah,
So how did you find
would've
that
added more.
venue? What made you choose it over the others?
it was the vibe, just like that wraparound porch and the big white house. And there's nothing like it in the area. There's like Holland's house, which is in Santa Cruz, but I think Peri's a little bit more like updated, and I think it's 130 or 140 the capacity. Yeah,
The views are really pretty from up top.
it
too.
is.
Yeah,
The
I
top
like
is
it.
so nice.
Yeah. All right, you want to tell how you chose that venue?
It was my brother's wedding and my godparents' son wedding that was at that venue, and we just had so much fun. And that venue had such a good vibe, like you said. So as soon as we got engaged, I knew I wanted that venue, and I actually didn't look at any other venues, and that's why that was be my only regret that I didn't. Maybe I should have, but I'm still happy with the decision I made. Yeah.
All right. Well, you didn't choose. You
Yeah,
just
yeah.
did everything you wanted.
Just did weird things.
You chose like 4 venues. Okay. I guess I'm winding it down here. What small thing or unexpected thing turned out to be more important than you thought?
Our guest book, we took a current coffee table book. My husband is obsessed with Tom Ford, and we had a Tom Ford coffee table book, and we brought it to every wedding. And I made a sign that basically said, choose a page, sign as big as you can. And now it's on display in our living room. So
very
I
cool.
love it. I love looking at it.
nice.
And every month I purposely change the page so we see it displayed so we can reread the note or whatnot. So.
Yeah.
What was the question again? I'm sorry.
Something small that turned out to be important. An unexpected thing maybe that happened or that you bought or that you added to your. Yeah.
I can't think of anything
Okay.
for some reason.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yanni?
I was like, I liked my party favors. They were chocolate.
There you go.
There you go.
So before our bachelorette, we did a conjoined one, and we bought these. I don't know if you know the Camp Snap, cameras.
Oh, yeah.
They're like little digital cameras. We took them with us to every single wedding event, and then we also had the point of view digital cameras for people to scan at the wedding too. So we had so many digitals of just random moments throughout the entire wedding process for us. So that's super special to me because it's just so fun and real, right? Nobody's posing. It's just random pictures throughout the night. So that was really cool.
Okay, here's one of the last ones. What traditions did you decide to keep or skip? Like first dance, father-daughter dance, mother-son, cake, bouquet, garter toss, money dance, anniversary dance. Did you do all those things, any of those things, or skip certain things?
We didn't do the bouquet or garter. I didn't really want to do that. And the Peri house too. It's just kind of small space.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you hit the light fixture.
We didn't do an anniversary dance. We did do the money dance, and I'm very happy we did that.
Okay.
Very happy about that. I feel like that was mostly it. We kind of did everything else that is the cash or the normal.
Yeah.
I was traditional with was it the wedding march, walking down the aisle. I was traditional with that music. And I think we did, everything traditional with cutting the cake. Father-daughter dance was at the same time as the mother-son dance. So we just combined that. And then we did not do the bouquet or garter either. We just thought when you're over 40, who's going to come out anyway? So we skipped it. But we did do something different instead of that. Was we had the couple that was married the longest kind of stay on the dance floor. And then that's
Anniversary dance.
Yeah, sorry. And that's who got the bouquet.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. All right. What about you? Traditions.
We are very non-traditional people, and we didn't really have that many traditional things other than my mom zipping up the dress, and we did a first look. I don't know if we're starting this tradition just between us, but every year we pull out our our vow books, and we'll recite them over coffee in the morning. And that's the first thing that we did the next morning after, is at the hotel room or wherever we were staying, we reread our vows to each other. So
Aww.
we like to do that.
So sweet. Did you guys get a video?
We for one of them, yes.
Yeah.
One of them.
Because some of my couples look at their video once every anniversary. So, I just wondered if that was, a thing.
We've done that.
Yeah, you have? Oh, I love that.
We did, I'm just remembering this. We did like personal private vows, and then we did personal vows in front of everyone, but they were completely different because we were like too scared to like do the actual ones in front of everybody.
Yeah,
So we
that's
wrote
the
two
thing.
sets.
We've been doing that lately. Did you do? No, you didn't do private vows. You did a first look though, Teresa.
Yeah, we did the first look, and
Down the steps at Colton Hall. It was very cool.
That
I
was
like that one.
But
Yeah.
no, we wrote vows to each other at home. It's like this little book thing that we wrote something to each other. And
Yeah,
it was just
yeah.
for us. Yeah.
All right. All right. Now, my last question before I'll open it up to the audience. If you have questions, what was your favorite moment of the entire day? Who would like to take that question?
Seeing my husband cry.
Aww.
Just kidding. In a good way, of course. When he saw me for the first time. That was a feel-good moment for sure.
I thought it was honest, and I really am not a center of attention person, but it was really fun walking into when we were announced, and we had like our song when we kind of got announced as husband and wife to our wedding party, because we used this song that was like from our high school, because we went to high school together. So it was a song they played at like all the football games, and I was a cheerleader, and that was like the Monterey High song. And we had so many friends from high school, and a lot of our friends are friends with each other, and a lot of his friends I'm friends with, and vice versa.
What was that song?
So it was kind of like a high school reunion,
Yeah,
and to have our high school song when we kind of walked in and like everyone standing up cheering, that was definitely a fun moment, and remembering in high school dancing to that song in my cheerleading uniform at the football games. So that was a really cool moment in our wedding. Yeah.
Did you have a favorite moment?
I think mine was probably the speeches, because it was just like nice and relaxing. We get to just we just ate, we get to have a drink and like just listen to everybody else cry. So that was fun
that
for
you
me.
don't have on video.
Speeches I don't have on video. Thank you. Yeah, I'd love to like remember those, but I don't. So I'll hire a videographer.
Shameless promotion.
Yeah.
So, does anybody in the audience have questions that I didn't cover? You'll have to project, or come on up. Oh, bachelorette party. Okay.
Do you want to go first?
Were you looking for?
Vendors to support the bachelorette. Okay.
That was one of the most important things to me in the whole process. We have a very close friend group, so we did a conjoined bachelorette. We went to Vegas, and we spent like 4 or 5 days there. We didn't really look for any vendors other than like transportation was a big one. So we did like party buses, and we went to like all the cool clubs and went dancing, and
fun.
just got shit faced pretty much.
I put zero thought into my bachelorette, and I really just gave it all to my best friend. So she asked me what I wanted, and I really just wanted like to hang out by a pool all day. So she just made that happen. So she booked everything. It was actually a place out in Santa Cruz, which I don't even remember the name, but we just hung out by the pool and food, and it was a small group of girls, but it was very casual and just swimming in a pool. So very non-traditional. And it was easy and fun though. It was easy and fun.
My bachelorette was in Jersey. I told 2 of the girls I want music. I don't want to be faced with questions or details. Hence what I do for a living. Like somebody else plans that, please. But I told them to contact the concierge at a hotel. I gave them about 3, here we go, planning, 3 options of hotels. And I said, figure it out. And we had about 15 of us. We did an Airbnb. We went to WrestleMania of a big country concert. And I spent a lot of time at the Jersey Shore growing up. So I wanted to do it at the Jersey Shore. Not the fist pump tan thing, but a different part of Jersey Shore. So yeah. But vendors, it was transportation, the concierge at the hotel, and I guess kind of me, so. Yeah. I should have, but going back to that question, is the one regret, I probably spent too much money on my bachelorette, but it was all worth it because out of 12 of them, they're all like new mommies, and they were like raging to go out, and I'm like, can we get a bed, please? Like I don't know. I spent a lot of money. It was good. It was a good time, but yeah, I probably should have put some budget behind that. So.
Any other questions from the? Oh. Okay, how do you balance the, how do you say that again? Okay. Okay, so yeah, how do you balance what's important to you versus him, and to justify doing what it is you want to do, right? Okay.
Again, I had to educate my husband a lot on like what was important, respectfully. No, but I think when
was there crying involved? Was there yelling involved?
But there was no yelling, there was no crying, but okay, there was like,
here, this is what it typically costs to do XYZ thing.
I think when it boiled down to what was important for us was all the guest experience part. And again, I had 4 different locations, and so it was very intentional of like, okay, this is grandma and family time, basically. This is like, let's hoot and holler type of environment. Let's dress in gowns and heels, right? They're all very different intentions there. And so I think once we kind of put the thought behind the location and what we wanted to do in each location, then it boiled down to, okay, what appropriate vendors do we want to put there? Which then drove the budget for each of those locations. So yeah. I don't know if I answered that question as best, but
my husband really didn't have opinions on a wedding. He would have been fine if we obviously didn't have a wedding. I think a lot of guys are like that, to just go to the courthouse or have a party. He was whatever you want kind of attitude. The only thing he did want though was his brother as the best man and his nephew as the ring bearer, whereas I was trying to do no wedding party at all. I wanted it to just be him and I and not do a wedding party, so that was something that he the one request he had, and the one thing I obviously bended for. But that was the only vision I didn't have, was to have a wedding party, but he wanted it, so. You know, I said as long as it's just maid of honor, best man, ring bearer, flower girl, and then nothing else. So I did put my foot down on that. And I think some of your question had to do with family or guest. There were people I think that wanted me to have a bigger wedding party. So I did say no to some family members, which offended some people, but I didn't want a giant wedding party. So.
Yeah. And no pressure, because
I know. I feel like being in the industry, like he kind of was already okay with me kind of taking the reins. Either he was okay with it, or maybe he just didn't have anything to say. So either or, but I feel like we just kind of had conversations about like what was important, and I feel like most of the time those aligned. Yeah, I don't feel like we had any things where I was like, I want this, and he was like, no, we're not doing that, or what about this? So I feel like it was pretty easy to come to like, this is what I want to do, and it was okay with that. So.
I thought of one more thing. Okay, so this is a good story, but we're going to shorten it for you. The only same scenario, right? My better half didn't have a ton of opinions, but when it came down to the date of the wedding, I chose a Saturday, May 3rd, last year, and it was the date for 9 months, 10 months, okay? My dear sweet husband decided, no, let's get married on May 2nd. And I'm like, excuse me? Why? Why does that matter? And he's like, it was my grandmother's birthday and I was really close to her. I'm like, okay, we're changing the date. Fine, we'll go to May 2nd. So I was planning, and things were engraved with May 3rd, by the way. Things were printed with May 3rd, by the way. Hence, stationery is important to me. We had to reprint because now May 2nd is very important to him. So that was the only thing that I had to compromise. I learned how to compromise on that, so which is a very important thing, and luckily we made do with that. So
That was big of you.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
It was.
So originally the Peri house we booked for September 26th. And then his brother was supposed to be graduating his master's program, and we didn't find out until like a little bit later. And so we had to change the date. So that was my compromise.
Okay.
We changed the date. So it ended up being 10/10, which was 2 weeks later, which honestly, vanity date, right? So
Yeah,
it
that's a
worked
good
out great.
number. Easy to remember.
Easy to remember.
Yeah. All right, guys. Anything else? Any other questions? Oh, Kim's got one. Okay, where do flowers fall on the list, and what specific did you want to know? How important was it? Where did it fall?
The
Oh,
florist
you're
was
happy with it?
super important for me, but again, I was very lazy with planning my wedding. I literally booked all the vendors. I had gone to so many weddings, so I just called people up, who was your photographer, who did your cake, who did your flowers, just because who was your DJ. So because I had just gone to so many weddings and I got to see people or things that I liked, so I saw the flowers of the person who did my wedding, and then I got to have a meeting with her and kind of, pick the flowers and tell her my vision. And to be honest, she went above and beyond. The only thing that was missing was just the flowers she forgot to do the flowers on like the welcome table. So I felt like that table kind of looked a little empty, but that was just an accident. But the flowers she did on the table and around the cake and around it was amazing. And she also did our arch, or our ceremony, those flowers. And I could have never done that. So she did a really, really great job. And I was beyond impressed with the flowers that I had for my wedding. So, and again, it was just because my brother's wedding, and I don't know if it was another wedding of someone else that did her. Oh, and on social media too. I saw people that had weddings on social media and asked who their florists were because the pictures looked really good. So a few people had used this florist that I ended up going with.
Florals is something I wasn't super knowledgeable about, as far as like, I guess like what things cost, right? I went with Willow and Plum. Great choice. It was amazing. But I definitely had that like first shock when like I received the proposal for all the things that I wanted, and I was like, so then you kind of like pull back and start like picking the things that are really important to you. So for me, I'd say like centerpieces are really important to me. I wanted something on the arch. I wanted like personal florals. I feel like I definitely probably could have done a little bit more floral, but I do think that it's really important. But I kind of just gave her my color palette, and then she impressed me on the day of. Everything came and it was beautiful. Picked the vase style. And that's pretty much it for me. But very important. Very important.
I would say it's probably my top important vendor. Luckily, I had 4 different florists and 4 different photographers and 4 different locations and yada yada. I hired all local vendors in each of those areas, and I was fortunate to work with each location had a different look to it. it was very important to me, and I didn't skimp out, and especially the last one, which was probably my favorite, because it was about the Highlands Inn, and it holds a very special moment for me just in my career, and then let alone being here on the coastline as opposed to the other locations. So yeah, I had all cocktail tables, I had ground arrangements, I had it all. So it was very important. And that's probably why I didn't necessarily put a budget around that. And then rentals. Rentals were really, really important to me. At the last second, 2 weeks before, I called Chic, and I went from champagne velvet tablecloths to velvet green tablecloths. And I spun her around, and I did black chairs, and I did black chargers, black cutlery. So yeah, and I loved the dark and moodiness. So yeah.
All right.
Okay, I have a question. At what point do you pick your DJ, and how do you make the decision of who's going to be your DJ?
How did you make the decision?
And
on
when?
who's- And when? At what point in the planning? Okay.
That came up early on for sure. And keep in mind, my situation's a little bit different because I did wine dinners, but out of the 4, 3 of them, we went to a massive concert, so it was a little different. But in all my clients, it comes out very first thing probably, if not the second or third thing, right behind flowers and photography and video. So yeah, I'll kind of let these two talk about that one.
Oh, I feel so bad. That was like last on my list. I shouldn't have been last on my list, but I really just called up my friend. I liked her DJ at her wedding, and I just asked for that guy's info. I think he was out in Santa Cruz, and he was just so great to talk to over the phone, and I felt like he made it really easy and kind of let me know all this, stuff to provide him that I needed. I have a lot of interest in music, and I was very particular about the music. So, and also the DJ does kind of run the show and kind of control the wedding and keep us on schedule. And I like that he was very detail oriented. We had done a few like Zoom meetings with my husband. So I didn't do any research online or look for anybody online. It really, for me, was just a wedding I went to, and I liked the DJ and just got his contact info.
Okay, so DJ was probably the first vendor that I booked after I booked my venue, because music for me was one of the most important parts, right? Guest experience, dancing, like all of that was important to me. But I started working at Wedgwood in November, and then ended up booking my DJ or December. And our DJ at our venue is Central Coast Entertainment. So I met Leo the first time, and I just love Leo. He's the owner. But I went in December for like a consultation with him, and I just loved how personable he was, and just like, I don't know, I had a great time with him. I trusted him right off the bat. So yeah, and we ended up booking with him, DJ photo booth.
Right? Because it's Wedgwood.
At Wedgwood,
right. I
it
forgot you were
was-
up in Sonoma.
Yeah,
I said that
yeah.
you were local, but you
So
know.
I already knew him from the position I worked at, and I ended up hiring him outside of that for my wedding. But yeah, he was just super personable and really trustworthy.
Okay.
I'm gonna also say DJs are very important, especially my MCs, because if they are not on it and then they're not following the timeline, they could be a kick to the dick if you are not on timeline. So I appreciate all what you do. So thank you.
Oh, as do I. I mean, I
help
think
us
that
out,
the
especially as planners.
DJs are keeper of the
Yep.
timeline,
Yep.
you know,
They're my vibe people, and I need to be on vibes. Yeah.
And they gauge the energy level of the party, and they
Yep.
figure out what needs to happen. Yeah, no, DJs are key. We appreciate them on many levels. Not just that they're cute. All right. What else? Anybody else? Any other questions? Oh, we got another guy. You guys are.
So when you were planning your ceremony, were you anyone you consider like live music? Were you thinking big, or did you have different types of music selections for each part of the ceremony versus the
Ceremony music. Yes, yes.
That
That's
was-
often an afterthought.
I 100% wanted a live band, and I had been saying for years I was going to have a live. I did not get a live band because I just didn't realize how much more they cost versus a DJ. So for me, it was just what was the most cost effective.
Ceremony music.
Ceremony music, I did have. I did want live music during the ceremony, and I did have a harpist during the ceremony, and I'm so glad that I made that decision because a lot of people told me I should cut that just, for budget purposes, or it's not needed or extra. But to me, I needed to have some type of live music, and if I couldn't do the live band, I at least wanted live music during the ceremony and during cocktail hour, even though I was going to utilize a DJ and, yeah.
I originally inquired with a harpist for the ceremony, and then I received the proposal, and I just knew it wasn't going to work with the expectation I was hoping to kind of stay within, and I kind of really had to sit down and think what am I really picturing? Is this going to be worth it overall, to me? And I ended up going with my DJ to do the music, so we just did a few different songs, and everything went really well. So. Yeah, but I definitely had that vision too of live music for the ceremony.
Ceremony music?
We had a playlist. Again, it was just 6 of us. So it was very quick. And in terms of the other locations, it was based off of either the restaurant or the private room that we hosted. But it, more or less, it was playlists. So
No live music.
No live music, correct, yes. Correct, at my other events, yes, correct. Yes.
I like a DJ as an MC. Sometimes people use
need
their
'em,
friends
yes.
as an MC, and it never works. It doesn't seem to me. It's like a trend or something.
Me?
I have a question for you. When you had planned the kind of 3 different receptions, how did you find your DJ or person who was doing music at each one? Being maybe you live here but you weren't living in Jersey or anywhere around there.
Research, yeah, Google, scouring the internet, ChatGPT, whatever it was, trying to find out who was also local to that particular location. That's really what it was, yeah, Google. And then doing Zoom calls with each of them and actually interviewing them. I'm a relationship person and a vibe check person, so yeah, I had to get them on face to face and really do I like you? Okay, yeah, I like you. Kind of one of those things. So yeah, I got you.
Okay. I think we need to wrap this up.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you
Thank
all
you,
for
everyone.
staying and being in this chilly environment. Well, you warmed it up for us. So thank you all for doing this, and I appreciate your time. And
It was fun. Thank you.
all right, maybe we'll have to try it again sometime. Yeah. Some flavor of it. Okay.
Thanks, everyone.
Good night.